gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day, Lord. God, even though it's raining and it seems like it's not going to quit, God, we just thank you so much for the rain. Because without it, we wouldn't be able to have flowers or the things that's going to grow. God, I just pray that you'll be with each and every one as we get ready to conduct the business of this county in which we're all elected to serve and to do. God, I just want to send my personal express to not only the East and the West Polk Fire and Rescue, Lord. I know, God, that this past weekend that they had their hands full, Lord. And God, I know a lot of times they may feel that they don't get the recognition that they need. But Lord, I thank you so much for these men and women that answer that call that a lot of times run in when a lot of people are running out. Lord, I just thank you so much. And I just pray that you'll be with this business at hand, and may it be conducted in a way that's pleasing to you. For it's in Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Here. Here.
Mark Evans.
Here.
Jeremy Kinsey.
Here.
John Kissinger.
Here.
Matt Trento. Here. And James Whitty.
We got a long agenda, so we won't try to get through it quick as we can. We do got a 2-hour time limit on our meeting, so we'll get through it as quick as we can. First on the agenda is approval of minutes from previous meeting.
motion approved.
Got a motion by Daniel, second by Samantha. Any discussion? Roll call.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Eddie Davis.
Yes.
Daniel Deal.
Yes.
Dewey Estimov.
Yes.
Mike Evans. Jeremy Kinsey.
Yes.
John Kissinger.
Yes.
Matthew Trento. Yes. James Whitty.
Next is approval of reports of officers. Motion to approve. Second. Got a motion by John, second by Jeremy. Any discussion? Roll call. Approve the reports of officers.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
Daniel Deal.
Yes.
Dewey Estimov.
Yes.
Mark Evans. Jeremy Kinsey.
Yes.
John Kissinger.
Yes.
Matthew Trento. Yes. And James Whitty.
Yes. Next is approval of notaries. Will any turn in tonight?
Just like.
Same one's on the agenda. So, the only one we have is Brenda Harris, from, Aiken's Funeral Home. She's from Copper Hill. That's the only one this month.
Yeah, I make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion by James, a second by Daniel. Any discussion? Roll call.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
Daniel Deal.
Yes.
Dewey Estimov.
Yes.
Mark Evans.
Yes.
Jeremy Kinsey.
Yes.
John Kissinger.
Yes.
Matthew Trento. Yes. And James Whitty.
Yes.
9 yes.
Next is budget amendments. We had a bunch. Proposed budget amendment number 1 is show appropriation for funds designated specifically for motor vehicle purchases. Proposed source of funds, there's the telephone commissions line in the amount of $66,913.06, and the contracted services line in the amount of $49,355.34, for a total of $116,268.40. Proposed expenditure of funds is $116,268.40 for the motor vehicles line. That's from the sheriff's office.
I make a motion we approve. Number 1.
Second motion. Got a motion by James, second by John Hort. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Greg Brooks,
Yes.
Debbie Davis,
Yes.
Daniel Eagle,
Yes.
Dewey Estimon,
Yes.
Mark Evans, Jeremy Kinsey,
Yes.
Sean Kipinger,
Yes.
Samantha Trentham.
Yes.
James Woody.
Yes.
9 yes.
And I think we can do, 21, or 20 through 24 together. Proposed budget amendment number 20, show appropriations for overages. The source of funds is from, 101, 54, 110, and 338, repair and maintenance. 54, 110, 499. From other supplies, amount of 261. The first one's in amount of 2,000, and, the other one is, from the furniture and fixtures line, 101, 54, 230, 711, in amount of 103.74. The total is $2,364.74. The proposed expenditure funds is for tires for 2,000, uniforms 261, travel 103.74. Total expenditure is $2,364.74. The tires is Sheriff here. It's was for the 4 extra patrol cars we funded, the 4 deputies, and we forgot to add tires in that line. For the tire line for patrol cars, we didn't take consideration, or he failed to tell us, remind us to, for the 4 more cars, so that's what this amendment is for. So, number 21 is to move funds in the Veteran Service Office function to avoid shortages. Proposed source of funds, 53,000-162, that's the clerical line, in amount of 2,000. Proposed expenditure of the funds is 2,000 from this travel line, 53,300-355. The expenditure is 2,000. Budget amendment 22, is to cover, what was it, the Tennessee Associated, what is it, TAC, the dues and membership?
Selection Commission.
It's to cover their membership dues. The proposed source of funds is from election commission in line 51,500-192, an amount of $1,050. Proposed expenditure of funds is from line 4, line 51,500-320 for dues and memberships in an amount of $1,050. Budget amendment number 23 is to show appropriations for purchase of MS office. Proposed source of funds, 34,515, and it's restricted. It's a line restricted for finance in the amount of $240. Proposed expenditures going in the line 52,500, 411 for data processing equipment in the amount of $240. Budget amendment number 24 to show reimbursement from friends of the library designated specifically for the below item. The line is 101-44,570, contributions and gifts, an amount of $1,335.50. The expenditure is to go into line 56,500, 499, other office supplies and materials, in amount of $1,335.50. And that's all of it.
Make a motion to approve budget amendments 20 through 24. Second.
Got a motion by Daniel, second by Debbie. We use ladies first rule when I'm doing the tie. Approve budget amendments 21 through 20 through 24. Is there any discussion?
Just one on that, the one for Takio, I think it's election commission dues and memberships.
Was that the Takio, groups on that?
Tennessee Associated, something.
Takio, okay, that, we had a set amount, that we didn't pay over, $250 for using memberships, but I think that one is the one that covers the whole election commission.
That's per person, if you add it up, it won't be over that.
My understanding was that covers the whole group.
They had $2,000 in that, line item to begin with. You
So
know,
this is an additional
county-
amount?
Pardon?
This is additional amount on top of
That's
it?
what, yeah, that's what he's asking to do. Even though it's within his budget, he's moving from one line item to another. But he had $2,000 already in there. And, the county commission only pays around $1,500 for 9 people, and this year's just for 5.
Yeah, that Takio is higher than ours, quite a bit. We looked at it one time before, it was unreal what they have to pay. So it's got 2,000 in it, what, I don't have my sheet, to know what's expended out of that.
He hadn't spent any of that 2,000, had he?
Yeah.
Oh, he had?
Yeah, that's why this was needed.
Okay, so it's done been expended?
It has, I don't know why I didn't bring it. I don't have it.
Well, I don't remember doing another budget amendment from that line this year, so I assume it's went to dues and memberships.
They had to.
Because we've not done a budget amendment on anything else with that money. I don't think, does anybody else remember doing one? So I guess it's done been expanded. For dues and memberships. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Greg Brooks,
Yes.
Debbie Davis,
Yes.
Daniel Deal,
Yes.
Dewey Estimate,
Yes.
Mark Evans,
Yes.
Jeremy Kinsey,
Yes.
John Pippinger,
Yes.
Samantha Trentham. Yes. James Woody.
Yes.
9 yes.
Next is, I think I do these, there's so many of them. Well,
You have a budget bill for
That was
road
part of it.
department.
I was gonna try to do it, one of these down through these, I guess we can. Alright, we'll go ahead and do the road department's one budget amendment. It's, total source of funds is, taking 95,500 from third fund balance and 500 from the lubricants line for a total of 96,000. Expenditures is, 90,000 for laborers, 5,000 for pipe, 500 for tow-in services, 500 for legal service, an amount of $96,000.
Make a motion with, that's amendment 19-2.
Yep, 19
Make a
match.
motion with.
That's it. Got a motion by James, a second from Mark, any discussion? Roll call.
Greg Brooks,
Yes.
Debbie Davis,
Yes.
Daniel Deal,
Yes.
Dewey Estimate,
Yes.
Mark Evans, Jeremy Kinsey,
Yes.
John Pippinger,
Yes.
Samantha Trentham. Yes. James Woody.
Yes.
9 yes.
Next is, matching fund request for grant for Polk County Road Department.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I have here, to request for funds of a flat grant, and, the locations of this grant is, at Ladd Springs and Sugarloaf Road is where the grant was accepted to be used at. I guess it's been the past couple of years, I've requested money for this grant, and, at the time of budget meetings, it was the wishes of the committee that they would fund, bridge grants at the time. And they, asked me how long could we postpone this grant till we could do a matching fund on it. And the time's running out. That was started 2 years ago, and we put it off for a couple of years. And, if I can't get the match money for it, it'll pretty well just be gone, and, we'll just, have to suffer a loss on it. But what I'd like to ask the commission is to, match the money on the grant, for those two roads.
Is it 100% match?
No, but it's 20%, well, actually 19.
And our part's how much?
19%.
What's the dollar amount?
$290,577.
That's the county's part.
That would be the county. And it's a Region 8 grant. What it'll consist of is the road will be, widened more, to accept, traffic better. It'll consist of, redoing a little bit of profile on the shoulders, guardrail. It's got a lot of work involved on both roadways. Ladd Springs Road is a pretty long stretch of road in the county. I applied for these grants and helped get the information together to apply for it back, it's been a good 3 years now. I'm pretty sure it's 3 years that I applied for it. And, I think the road at that time was a lot better shape, but the front section from, Kirby Wilcox's back to 411 is starting to show, quite a bit of wear on it, and kind of waited on this grant to take care of the paving all the way through. But, Sugarloaf, you can't meet, two cars can't meet without somebody pulling over and getting, off the shoulder, when two cars, there's a lot of residents, and I was quite surprised at just how much traffic is on that Sugarloaf Road going back, back there to the boat ramp, and then you've got your residents that lives up on Deer Ridge. It's, quite a bit of traffic traveling in and out there. But, that road is gonna be widened up to about 24 feet wide going in there. And, the Forest Service had, accepted as approval to do that work in there, because they own everything on the right side of that road going in. So most of the width of the road is gonna be added on that east side of that road.
On this grant, could, it's just throwing something out there, could, one road be funded and not the other, between like Ladd Springs and Sugarloaf? Could you cut it,
Cut one or the other.
yeah,
I asked that question, from the man, I have to have a consultant to manage this project, because it's such a big project. And, we originally had it separated, and we put it together just for the management reasons. We could manage both jobs easier than we could managing two separate projects. The same amount of paperwork is, could be for one, but you put two in there, then you got double.
well,
You're doubling paperwork involved, there's a lot of reports, there's a lot of, management of the funds. You almost have to have NASA clearance to do this, some of these grants. It's just got a lot of paperwork involved.
Well, you'd, when you say a timeline, time's running out, what do you think, 2 more months?
No, it's nothing like 2 more months. No, it's nothing that. Look,
we have a road
this
committee
one's-
meeting with
so-
you? Could we have a road committee meeting with you?
Sure.
And
Sure.
in your defense, you did ask me, do we need to have one? I said, I didn't think we needed to. I didn't realize it was gonna be as much paperwork, but you did ask that.
Yes.
And, if anybody make a motion, put this to road committee.
I got one thing to say. for you.
Yeah, go on.
I'm trying to cut this short on.
No, take off.
It's, you know, as far as like putting the money together for it, I've got to have the funds. See, everything I've got here in the packet is, they're all kind of intertwined, and I've got to know which direction to go. You know, from, you know, if it's fund the grant, if I don't get the fund for the grant, then I've got to pull money from somewhere else. If it's, you know, and you know what's on the agenda, you know, if it's, you know, the gravel roads, trying to fund the tar and chip for those, you know, for us to save money, we've got to move forward with that. So it's a matter of getting the grant, you know, or funding the gravel roads, tar and chip, funding the move. I mean, I've got everything's intertwined here. You know, road list, county road list, with Forest Service roads, you know, we've got several Forest Service roads that we're in an agreement with the Forest Service, but the matter of us maintaining them, that just adds more strain on the department. And like I said, they're all intertwined. That's the reason why I'm asking for the funding, so we know which direction we can go here. If we eliminate the tar and chip, all the gravel roads, and eliminate the gravel to maintain, if we can do that, then that's gonna save us about $200,000 a year in maintenance costs. It's just all connected. I've got all these things are connected. It's not something that you can just present one at a time in a way. But yes, you wanna go to community?
Well,
I make a request we put this issue over the road committee and it meets as quick as possible.
Tuesday, everybody good next Tuesday, on the road committee.
Yeah. Yeah, good month.
No, I don't wanna shoot myself in the foot for a decision, but, you know, if we need to, you know, look at something for, you know, budget time.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, we need definitely, before we start doing the budget, you know,
Yeah, I don't know, you know,
is
could be anything.
say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 requests on here from the road department. You seen more that be irrelevant tonight when we go over to the committee meeting?
Well, it'd be better off just go down through them one at a time, and if you wanna call
Alright.
road.
The next one is, reimbursement of legal fees and clarification policy on the department. And I guess those two sort of go together, don't they? The next one, responsibility for paying attorney fees.
Yeah, it's a request, but also it's, you know, if it's a responsibility of the road department to, you know, pay the legal fees that might be concerned to, you know, maybe a county matter, or maybe a pursued, you know, commission matter, and we've had to, you know, pay the attorney fees on it. You know, I don't mind paying our own attorney fees if we have to, but, you know, I just wanted some clarification that for, you know, y'all's input, if we're, say this would be county or road department.
Right.
And what would be the policy on that? You know, I've not had to pay for legal fees, in the past, you know. As a matter of fact, I don't think me and Eric, either one was actually clear as to where it needed to go to start with.
I think, you know something about that John Holt?
Logan never charged me. I mean, I just wanted to just clarify that. You know, and then we were dealing with the road issue back when, I guess it's been 2012 or 13 over Chief Road. And that would even went into a settlement.
I think that was paid out of county general on legal. Under, when Logan was handling that case, is that what, I don't think y'all paid it, I think we did. I think we were billed ours on that.
Have you got a bill for this then? I mean.
I've already paid it.
You've already paid it?
That's why I'm asking, you know.
And what matter was this one on? This was on,
One was,
which one?
is a, let's see, I got it in here. One was a grant back,
2017.
yeah, I forgot what the name was. Oh, it was a grant that had to do with the, safety initiative grant, and there was a signature page for that, and it had to, it's a grant that's a federal grant, and we don't really have any say-so over it other than just listen to what they tell us they're gonna do. and it has to deal with fatalities in the county. And if there's a road that has a high fatality, and Spring Creek is one of those roads that's, considered to have safety improvements done to it. Even though, you know, there's about 3 miles of gravel on it, I don't know what they're gonna do for that, but, Spring Creek's supposed to get striping, extra signage for, you know, precautionary signage, guardrails or whatever it needs. And that was the grant that was signed back then. And the other was, invoice over Turtle Run, Frank Hammond's Park and Turtle Run was another deal. And like I say, I'm not, you know, saying that Mr. Brooks doesn't deserve any of it. You know, he's done the work, you know, stuff, but I'm just saying I'd like clarification on whether, you know, this needs to come out of county, or if I need to pay it, or, you know, and in requesting the funds, that's all I'm asking for.
Most of those, to me, sound like county issues. And not directly out of your department dealing with it, because you had nothing to do with the Frank Hammond's Park thing. It was something thrown on you.
Well, that's just
Is
it,
that
one of them.
is that the road that they was wanting to bring into the back of Hammond's Park, the driveway? Or is that,
No, that's
You
the
said-
one.
This is the one up here.
okay, I thought it said
We
road
come
running
look at
Hammond's
it.
Park.
Well, it was all in one,
Oh, it's all in one
invoice.
Okay.
I got it itemized, there's 3 different invoices.
It sounds like county.
I make a motion that the county take up those bills.
I'll second on that.
Take him up by any county, got a motion by Dewey and a second by John Hoyt. Any more discussion?
Is that just these, or?
That's just on these. No, that's on these that's discussed that.
That's
here
on
are
these,
county
and that'd be
issues.
something, well, that's we can discuss at the road committee meeting. We'll do, you know, we'll set.
Further responsibility.
Yeah,
where it
we'll
needs
do
to go.
from here on
Yeah.
out, and
I
we'll
agree
just,
with that.
everybody can agree, you know, like this right here, for sure, the Frank Hammond's Park was a county issue. And then the road, that could have been a road department issue or a county issue. And we'll just set some kind of guidelines that won't be no confusion in the future.
And you said you've done pavers out of your line?
I already have this.
Okay, you need
Yeah, I
to-
didn't want to hold him up on his
You
money.
need to remind us to do a budget amendment next month to replenish that money. We'll have to do a budget amendment to move the money, to give you the money, to go back in, but you need to remind us, if this passes.
Good point.
Road call.
Craig Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
Daniel Doodle.
Yes.
Dewey Estimov.
Yes.
Mark Evans.
Yes.
Jeremy Kinsey.
Yes.
John Pippinger.
Yes.
Samantha Franklin. Yes. James Woody.
Yes.
9 yes.
The next one is, I think we covered it with this one, reimbursement, legal fees and clarification of policy on the department. I think we covered the next one, didn't we? This thing?
Yeah.
Next one's from road department, it's the building committee meeting request.
This has, this request here is in, it's in light of the moving out to the, new site. And, you know, I don't know if I've even seen anything on here that we, you know, we had the committee meeting on it, and that's possibly what, Executive Hatcher's got on there for, at the end, about approval to move into the new site and everything for the road department because of the issue at the ball field. But, we was in committee and, we were trying to sort through some of the issues about moving and everything. And, I did not have an amount for, you know, it was moving suffice at that time, I didn't have an amount for, a building and what it would cost to move and what it was gonna be as far as money-wise, a burden on the county or the road department. And, in this page here, I've got it pretty well, you know, pretty well sorted out, and I'm, like I said, I'm putting in here as a request, just for the same reason I'm putting in a request for, the grant. You know, I've gotta know, you know, what help we're gonna get so that I know which direction I can move the department forward on. And in this, In this first page here, here's what we're looking at, as far as, you know, as far as building. Up there. And I've got a couple of pictures, this is kind of some ideas. I'm gonna pass those down. It may not be this big, this is just a picture that I could get that's of seeing the design. Here's another idea. And that's pretty well the building that we got as far as an estimate.
And when we were talking about, you were talking about moving the building, we were looking at that property that you're moving the, old barnyard to, and then you said that, if you designed it right, you could possibly move
The whole
your
thing.
whole office over.
Right, and I was asked about, you know, how much would it cost to
Yeah.
do a building. This has got everything. I mean, this would be, you know, fence the lot, the clearing, the grubbing, you know, putting a building. And it was discussed about, you know, having, you know, the extra area there where the road department was to, you know, put
Tire
the dumps and
track.
tires and all
Yeah.
that. And we're all kind of landlocked there. I mean, we don't really have any place to go when, you know, as far as, I mean, I've got a lot that's just packed full and, you know, equipment, and the time you get the employees parked in there, you know, there's just not really a whole lot of room to move around. Ducktown, you know, a little bit better shape on their acreage, and, it'd be to the benefit if sometime in the state wanted to relocate up here and give the county, you know, their old buildings for extra room would be a very good plus. Which they've done that in Hamilton County. TDOT gave, Hamilton County the whole Region 2 office, you know, for their road department and I think new bus garage and everything, for all their land down there at Cromwell Road. Which that would be something to check on. But anyway, I'll get back on the subject here. What I've got here is a list of expenses, it's, you know, depending on what would be available for funding for this. Kind of estimate it's gonna cost us about, you know, $38,000 for clearing and grubbing, and, $27,000 for site leveling and getting ready for the building, and hauling of, old gravel, you know, from the ball field. We'll try to reuse that, repurpose it back on the parking area, and we might have to buy some more gravel to make a lot. But we're gonna try to reuse everything we can, that's just a good estimate here, and as total for the PCRD that contributes to this will be about $66,000 in the move. And, that would probably be stretched out over a long, you know, over a little long-term, time. And what I'm requesting here is funds from the county commission for the survey of the site, which that's in the works now. Survey of the site's gonna be about, less than $1,000. So it's gonna be right around $1,000 for a survey. $22,000 for a barrier fence, and that's gonna be a must right there, that fence. We've gotta have that fence just as quick as we can get it on that fence. And, $248,000 for a 70 by 120 building. And that includes everything. That's the concrete, you know, the building itself and all, that's the skeleton with walls.
Did you, had you, cause I know you done all this kinda in a hurry and everything, you know, it's not cause nothing set in stone or whatever.
Right.
But did you get any comparisons from any other building?
On the time frame, no.
No, I'm talking about on the building itself,
That's
because
right,
I,
no.
okay,
This is
cause I noticed
most
here,
reasonable.
this was Morton's, and back several years ago, they were one of the highest.
Just the picture, just the picture.
Okay.
That's all the Morton's is for, and I'm just
Yeah.
using that as reference to
Okay.
pictures. I'm sorry, that's a good question.
Yeah.
No, I'm not using Morton's.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
we're using more of them.
But you still hadn't got like 3 or 4 different
Not yet. No,
prices.
we'll have to.
Yeah,
We'll have
okay,
to.
yeah, just.
This is just for
Right.
benefit of putting this together.
Preliminary, yeah, fine,
ma'am.
right.
Well, we discussed the land moving, we know you have to move the stuff off the park. And now we were talking, you know, you mentioned moving the building and all and having everything combined over there, and, you know, we talked about that, but we was looking at, several years down the road type deal on that. I mean, the first part has to be done, it has to be done fairly quick. The, what I call the burn yard up there, y'all's,
Mixing.
yeah. But now, on this would be a budgetary, and probably capital projects type deal here.
Right.
This isn't something we can vote and say, yeah, we're gonna fund it. We're not even close to a bid process on that.
Right.
And we need to know how much you can put in too on this, cause it would be your building.
But it's like I say, I'm trying to get everything here so it'll be budgetized. Like I say, I mean, everything's intertwined here, and where money goes, it's gotta be planned ahead.
We need to have a building committee meeting, or is this something we can discuss also at the road committee meeting? That probably needs to be put over the building committee.
It probably needs to go building committee because of the way it, I mean, it's dealing with the road department, but it's
But it is
strictly
a
about
building.
land and use.
Alright, well,
But I mean, as far as like the old building, if we did move, if that was to be absorbed into the county, you know, there would be some value to that as well, so you will actually gain, you know, for the use of that over there, that area, you'll have the usage of that as well. You know, if you had something else that you want to put in there, you know, whether it be trash, tires, or, you know, anything else, you still have that available. So that would be another item that would be contributed from the road department into, this. And like I said, this is, you know, I've got these figures together so that, you know, you'll know what kind of money we're looking at here in place. And, you know, Ducktown's not looking too good itself. I mean, we got water in the floor up there. And it's about I think built in the sixties. And it's just a block building. It needs some attention as well, and I put some lights in, trying to make it look better, but the brighter I made it, the worse it looked.
we'll try to have a building committee meeting for 2 weeks or less. We'll have plenty of time to get it back on the agenda next month, so, can you, about any Tuesday or Thursday evening around 7, can you be free?
We'll try to, yeah, I'll try to make it clear today.
So we got the road committee meeting next Tuesday at 7. They go ahead and have, since the road, since the building's at me, it'll be up here.
If I were to say anything would be the number one priority out of this, as far as the building and the new site, would be the fence.
The what, big priority?
Fence.
Can you bring some numbers for it to the building committee meeting? And
Yeah,
pictures?
it don't, no matter who you call, it's always the same price. I can't remember what.
They charge by the foot.
18 by the foot or something. I think it doesn't matter what it is, it's all, everybody's the same on that fence.
We'll have a building committee meeting, I'll get everybody to see, we'll have it the next 2 weeks. Next is, also from the road department, it's a constituent's request.
I think what I provided you in the packet on this is a request for money to do tar and chip all gravel, maintain roads in the county. And, you should have a list like this in your packet. It should look like a road list, is what it is here. And this is every gravel road remaining in the county that we have now. Every county maintained, let me clarify that, every county maintained. Don't get mixed up. What I've got here on as far as this request the request is for county aid in tar and chipping gravel roads. And, I'll just read this off here. PCRD has worked to curb expenses of tar and chip, and tar and chip as many county maintained gravel roads to lower our costs. We have paved 78 miles of county maintained roads since 2012 and stay within our budget. with costs continuing to increase, the expense to maintain gravel roads is skyrocketing at a rate that has created a department backlog list and of needs for the county road system. What we're requesting for is assistance in, paving these tar and chip roads. If we can get rid of the maintenance on these tar and chip roads, then we can start focusing more on hot mix, and we can have a road, that's in better shape, that'll last a lot longer. Tar and chip is actually the base start for a good asphalt road. And if we can, tar and chip will last, anywhere from, I've seen them last for a long time, but, their basis of idea that a tar and chip should last at least 5 to 6 years before you put a seal coat back on it, and you start adding another layer. And that's kind of the basis of it. Paving with hot mix, the lifetime of hot mix, is according to the state, is 25 years. So we've done Grassy Creek Road and New Stansbury Road up here on this end of the county, and Old Federal, Delano Road were done on the west side. Those roads, when at the time they were done, they should last 25 years before they need any paving again. So the problem with maintenance with those roads should be gone for a pretty long time. With that, in saying that, we've got roads that I know of was Welcome Valley Road that was paved under Lynn McGee, and it's about 30 to 35 year old, and it's cracked. It's got the turtleback cracking going on it, and it needs paving, but I just don't have the money to do it. But what I'd like to show you here on this same page here, that's in your packet here, here's a listing of the backlog gravel roads and the cost per district. And I have first district, I have 18.5 miles left in the first district. In second district, I have 32 miles. And let's say second was 32 miles, and third district 31 miles left remaining in the county of gravel roads. And the cost of that is $21,000 a mile to do, which leaves a total of $1.8 million. So to do that, $1.8 million, that's, like I said, that's an awful lot for the department to take on to try to eliminate. So I need some assistance from the county to be able to do these, these county roads so that we can get started into doing hot mix. I also have here listed as a backlog cost of materials for your paving. And what I have here is 77 miles in the first district, 67 miles in the second district, and 46 miles in the third district. And that's telling you, what I'm trying to tell you here on that one is that that's the paved roads that if we didn't have tar and chip, that we could be paving. So we've got, a large number of paved roads that need hot asphalt on them. But until we eliminate the gravel roads, we won't be able to move forward with that hot mix as much. And here's a map, which that might turn the artwork on it, but there's a map that I put together, and I've got the county gravel roads marked. That's what we've been trying to eliminate. First stage I was trying to do gravel roads, anything that we have to do a lot of maintenance on. If it goes up a hill and it washes out a lot, that's what we were trying to tar and chip. We're trying to get rid of the high maintenance that causes us problems, all the time. We have to go back and grade it, more than 5-6 times a year, just because of rain, and we went and tar and chipped it and solved all that problem. Now the red you see on here, the yellow and blue, those are gravel roads. What I've got marked, the red is the problem asphalt road. And you see the map is pretty well covered in color. And I went through and actually drove through every county road, and I do it every year. And I make what I do here, what I do is I've got an Excel spreadsheet. This is first district, this is second district, and third district. And I do it just like in the county. I make an account of the roads, how many feet are bad, and I put in here what percentage of that road is bad, which what I've done is or put in a, like 100% bad. 1 mile and a third has so many road problems on it that it's considered to be, that section is considered to be 100% in the red, it needs to be paved. But you see how many reds they have. So that first road was, Ladd Springs, it was that first section of Ladd Springs we talked about. Third district here, so I've got 100%. Mount Harmony. Mount Harmony Road here is 1 mile and, or 2 miles. And I've got it listed here as, being 58%. So it's big, it needs some too. Second district. First district. Reynolds Bridge, 53%. Dentonville, I've got 44%. Dentonville is a 6 mile road. There's about a 2.5 mile section that from, Patty Church of Christ to the county line is pretty bad. Reynolds Bridge is a 4 mile road, and it's bad from the stop signs all the way to the bridge. And it's not getting any much better going to 64. But that's how I've been keeping up with what bad, what problems in the county. Is I actually do like an account, And what I do here is like I said, is I go through and I measure, and and it's not like I get out with a wheel or roll it or measure. If I hadn't spent the money on stuff that I could use in my truck, but I can get a little thing that will measure for my truck, but it's like $800, and I'm gonna spend that. So I go through and I'll measure a spot, get my eye right, and we'll go through and I'll measure it. I'll mark it down on my.
We measure by potholes.
There you go.
How many you hit?
I count potholes and
Yeah.
write it down. I give them in. I got 52 potholes in this road. I ought to go fix it. Very good. That's potholes, yeah.
Are there roads on this list that you gave us, any of them service roads that we don't get a dime from the forest department from, or
Which one's that?
this one, road list that you gave us here?
On the gravel roads?
Yes. Or roads that are not built to proper standards that have slipped in over the years?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there's some on here, and we, like I said, our roads are classified by, by state law. We're supposed to classify the length of right of way, surface, the surface bed, and we're supposed to do them like, that as far as classification. And there's some roads in here that probably, here's one right here, Buckner Road is, classified as being a 10-foot wide road, and it is pretty narrow. And, Brown Road, right here is the top of the list, it's considered to be 14 wide, but it goes to a farm. That's all it is, just goes to a farm. There's nothing more than that, but that's in our road list. There's a road, in, this, you might remember this one, Don, it's Clover Mill. Clover Mill is, off of 411. Now that road, Clover Mill, the mileage that we had in our road list, when the state came through, they widened the road up on that north end of Benton. But when they put the width in that road, it took in the mileage that was in place for this in the road list. So it really needs to come out, because it doesn't have any connection, anymore. It's all state. It's all state. There's a Eves Road. Eves Road, it goes to a couple of houses, but they're just, it's like driveways, right? Could I go in there? Yes. The governing body had it put in the road list. So, by law, I can go in there and take care of whatever needs to be done. Joe Bain Road, that's another that the state, they widened the road up, the mileage that was in place, they paved it. So that could be taken off the list. Old Ocoee Church, that's a road that's in the city limits. How did we get off on this? We're supposed to be talking about.
What
Yes.
about all these roads on here, you say you gotta tar and chip, and I was just wondering how many of these
Well,
that can be eliminated that you wouldn't have.
Sorry, you asked a question.
But just everybody that's on the road committee, just review this list, if you got any questions, just put a star by them.
Well, one
Cause there's a
thing-
lot of roads.
What brought all this on anyway? I mean, I'm just kinda curious.
I'm trying to get a direction, that's what I was telling you earlier, I've got to,
Yeah,
you know, as far as what money I have, and I need a direction on which way to go, and I know it's paved, you know, but it's paved every road in the county. And,
But they don't give you that much money?
no, not enough money to do all that, not in, you know, a fast enough time to save money. I mean, it makes sense you might spend a little bit, to save a little bit, and that's why I'm handing this paper out here.
I'd love to pay that over in the county, but if we give you everything you want tonight, we're looking at $3 million or over it. And, we got elementary school that's running the ground up here, and I'm sure they're on Denton too. And I agree with the roads, I mean, we need them, but we can't give everything away to one department. What we paid, last year to get the new tank put in up at that town, it was like 200,000.
That's for the county though.
I know that.
Yeah, I know you put, that's, you know, we could just shut it down and let, you know, every department do what they need to.
Well, it looks like to me one of our first things to start saving some money is get rid of a bunch of roads that you don't need to be claiming. That goes to people's houses and does nothing else. I'd like to have my driveway gravel by the county too. But I don't ask for it and I don't expect it. So that seems to be first and foremost, that we need to take care of getting roads that does not deserve, our county money. You know, nobody's any better than anybody in this county. And so if one of us is not getting it, nobody else deserves it. And which has been none of your doings. You know, this has been previous administrations that has took on these roads.
Well,
So that's gonna be first, you know, has to be first on our list to try to save, you know, $200,000 and $300,000 a year in gravel that's going on people's driveways.
Can you identify several of them, Debbie?
I sure
Put them in
can,
me?
I sure can.
I thought you might be able to.
So,
All of them you can come up with.
Yeah.
Bring 'em.
and I mean, and I'm not picking on anybody. I mean, this is not, like I say, that's not what we're out to do. But what's right's right and what's wrong's wrong. And that's just the way it's gotta be. And then second off, this Forest Service mess, we need to get on the ball with it pronto and find out why they're not paying one red dime that supposedly was in this contract that Bowser Hughes has got with them, that you brought up, that, you know, we can't keep up Forest Service roads.
no, and see, they paid for, you know, I know we're kinda getting off track, but it is saying, I told you, they're all kinda meshed.
Right.
You gotta think of this
And, I
all
mean,
as one thing.
So we're needing to spend money here, so we've gotta start saving money before we can keep spending money.
Exactly.
And that's, I mean, and I know that's just a small portion, but that, and then also, like one of your papers here, I got everything's twisted around, but anyway, about these, roads where all these big trucks are traveling. Now, we do not want to restrict people that has got businesses going to their homes, period. We cannot do that. You know, what, if they're truck drivers, they've got construction business, they have to be able to get back and forth on their road to their
But they have a
houses.
destination.
Right, they got,
They
exactly.
live on that road, they have
Yeah.
a destination,
To-
they can go to and from.
Right.
What the weight limits is for is people that drive a truck and they
Yeah.
wanna use a county road for a shortcut.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, I don't know, I've tried to look for the law, but from what I remember as far as trucking, to go from one state route to another state route via a county road is against the law.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
know,
Period.
when I talked to you about that, I done, MapQuest and Google, like submitted it through their thing, we haven't had any. But I mean, I guess they changed it, cause we haven't had.
I hope that worked. I did myself, so that, if you did, I've done, submitted to Google probably 2 or 3 times, and I know, how many times we did? 2 or 3 times that we submitted to Google, you know, to have that route changed.
Yeah,
And
we
I hope
haven't
it
had
worked,
it.
but I have.
I mean, you know, it's just, these big, I mean, like I say, if agriculture trucks, we can't block our farmers. We gotta have milk trucks, which have pretty much have eliminated their sale, but anyway, but still. And then like I say, you know, if Joe Blow's got a construction business, he's got a paperwood business, he's got a gravel business, he's gotta be able to get back and forth to his house every how he needs to do it. But these other people, they're, you know, we've got to try to eliminate. Those destroy your road, and if we don't have to put up with it, we don't need to be putting up with it.
That's a good point. Now, like I say, we kind of got away from this gravel road.
That's I hate to cut anybody off. We got, 1 hour
Yeah,
left, and
let's
we got
run.
some pretty important.
But anyway,
We'll
we'll
do
get back
that.
on that.
We'll bring up the roads at the committee meeting,
Okay.
and, let's see,
Yeah.
I'm on,
Look, I got one thing else to say to you here,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, on this right here, because I give these all a piece of paper right here right quick, and I'll be real quick. But what I've got here, as far as this paper I handed out to you here, is the paving backlog yearly average. And what I have here is by year, and this is where we have a balance of roads. You remember my county that I've done here, my county, 2012, we had 231 miles, and we've cut that down to 191 of these listed miles that are considered to be in percentage wise. And I went through, if you look at it here, those mileages went from $18 million down to $14 million. That's the dollar value that it would cost for the road department as material wise. And what I'm considering material wise, in other words, I buy asphalt and to build a mile of road, it's gonna cost me nearly $80,000 for a mile of road. Now, if I were to do state aid, now we're talking more like, because I'm gonna have $50 a ton tagged on that if I had it done by a contractor through state aid. And, you know, we've got to try and get equipment for the county so we can start saving. Like I said, we got to buy some things to save money sometimes. So what we've done is we bought a paver, we bought, you know, a couple of rollers, and that's to save us money. So we can start doing our own paving and do it for $80 a ton instead of 110,000 plus, you know, what it was. I think I had to do some milling on Old Federal, so it made the cost go up just a little bit, and I think it was more like 130,000 miles because I had to mill out some places that were sliding. But what I was wanting to show you here on this is that on gravel roads in 2012, we had 121, nearly 122 miles of gravel roads. I've got it cut down to 82 miles. So that's what I'm trying to eliminate, trying to do at least 10 mile a year of gravel roads and then trying to do some paving as well. So in that, it's worth to $1.8 million. It costs $20,000 a mile, 82 miles, and there's my math. And we've got total in backlog for right now, $16 million of backlog paving and gravel roads for the tar and chip. So, like I said, that's my yearly average. And if you look down here, here's where I've got estimated what it would cost to maintain the gravel roads. And it's about $2,200 a mile to maintain. That's the gravel grade, whatever. That's what it's going to cost us to maintain a gravel road. And if we can tar and chip all these gravel roads, then we'll end up saving $200,000 a year, which I've got highlighted right there. That's what it'll save us a year to do that. And over 8-year time amateur drive, where, you know, it steps down. If I do 10 mile every year, it steps down. At the end of that time, just doing those roads, I'd save the $200,000. But it was also, I'd be eliminating gravel roads, so it would be, at the end of the day, $657,000 worth of savings by that time for getting those done. That's an 8-year amortization at 10 mile a year. So, like I say, as far as gravel roads complete, the total, I've got 21 miles complete and 21 miles of hot mix roads that are, you know, either tar and chip or asphalt. And that's what I wanted to show you on that. And as far as your road list goes, this is where we came from. This is the road list we came from, this is what we have now. And, you know, if it got, you know, some, you know, things that may not be perfect in it, yeah, it's probably got some mistakes in it. You know, there might be a few in there. But to see where we come from, I mean, we've got stuff that's, you know, it's just oddball names in here that's old names that we, you know, you probably would know if you lived there beside it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Block Church Road, you know, unless you're from Greasy Creek, you wouldn't know what Block Church Road was.
No.
But, that was in this list. You know, I mean, there's all kind of PVCs was in this road list. But I mean, you know where that is, Greg. But like I say, this road list took some time to work on. This is what we've done in 2012, 2013, and the commission, former commission, I guess now. Former commission spent a lot of time on it, done a lot of work. Was it perfect? I don't know. It may have a few mistakes in it.
Well, anybody on the road committee, or anybody on the commission, just go over this road list, and anything you see on there that's questionable, just make an ask about it. We'll take it up and we'll get it all straightened out, get everybody on here happy on the same page. Let's see, we got Wi-Fi for the courthouse and community center, Commissioner Pivoy.
What about this road?
I'm gonna do it, well, actually, for what time? That's
Surplus equipment.
Surplus what time, I'm gonna put it at the bottom.
Mr. Chairman, we're gonna, rest of it, you're gonna go to committee with, is that what
Well,
you're saying? I mean, we've about talked about all around it.
Yeah,
Where
one
we began,
thing
where we
here,
ended.
on the, surplus property, I'm gonna put it at the bottom of the agenda, and we'll get on here shortly. Cause we got a couple of things on here, the ambulance contract and stuff that we got to get into, so, but we're gonna hurry through it. And I'll get down to it. Let's see, I'll be prioritizing some stuff to put that in there to go, but we got, we're running out of time. Let's see. John Hoyce, ready for the Wi-Fi?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that to next month. There is a new grant out, that, County Executive Hatcher is looking into that might, solve and be a better solution to what we were going to introduce. No, I'm gonna put it to next month. It has to be moved on the agenda for next month.
Move that next month, Jay?
It may be that the grant is gonna be more costly and not the solution we're looking for, but the, web committee is gonna meet, March 5th at 6:30. So if everybody can meet this on web committee, March 5th at 6:30. We'll try to go over that
Yeah,
guy.
and what that grant is that grant is for, business and, city developments and things of that nature. And it honestly, it came in the office, a guy came in yesterday and, talked with me and I talked with John, so John's asked to hold this up. But, it'd be something other worth looking into anytime we can get some free money.
Next is, county attorney, he wants to, I guess, Trace or him, one's gonna make the pledge.
If y'all look in your packet, what it is for our county attorney, everybody else, you as a commission as well, we hold everything out for your taxes. Anybody that's on any commission or anything in county government's done the same way. Eric's is not. And it would help him if you all would allow him, so this would be done for him to be paid through a vendor check. Some of them may say, well, he's going to a part-time, is that not right? He is currently, I'm sorry, he's currently vendor. So, we're not offering him insurance, nothing like it, it's just something to help him out with his tax base whenever that comes around. It wouldn't be a big deal, a big burden off the county, be a little more paperwork for the girls and all. But it's just something other that I'd like for you all to look at to see.
Quick question, does this in any way affect his status under the private act as county attorney?
Well, if you read the private act, it created a position, a county position, so I don't, how can you be an independent contractor and have a position in the county? So really, it should have been this way the whole time, really.
So it no effect on the,
Hiring process.
specifications of the private act?
No, you still, you'd have to still appoint me and everything. It's just, instead you would hold my taxes out instead of just treating me as an independent contractor.
So no effect on the
No.
private act? No was fine. You get, spending too much time with Jimmy Lowe.
Is that gonna cause us to match the social security match?
Social Security,
No taxes.
We'll have to do
So
the
much
FICA.
comes out of his, so much comes out of ours if he's an employee.
Yeah, it'd be the FICA and everything.
That's fine.
Well, the FICA's out of his,
Yeah.
but social security's gonna be out of ours.
It'd
So
be out
we're
of
basically giving him 7% raise to that.
No, it's not, you're not gonna give him, if you wanna give him a 7% raise, I'm sure Eric would be willing to.
He's talking about the
Correct,
Social
correct.
Security.
I understand that, but
The difference in
hold on,
contract.
but Eric does a lot of work, that there's nothing ever built to this commission, this county. I don't know how many times I personally call him, or he comes in and we'll sit down and talk about things that's never built. And then on one bill in particular, he cut a tremendous amount, just to help the county.
So so anyway,
What do
we
we
need
say?
to vote on this.
We will pay him what he turns his invoice in for
Right.
that total.
It's
So the
just-
taxes and everything comes off that total he turns in.
Yeah,
And I'm sure he would be, we can work that out with him as far as holding out for him to still have his part on that with that social security, so it wouldn't be like a 7% increase is what he's thinking. No. I'll keep an eye on it.
Contract labor, you pay your own, tax, you pay on in, this way you don't, cause the county withholds.
Withhold, but they have to match the withhold.
Max, yeah, so that would be an increase. Don't want to be the full 7% though. Match the withholding, withholds.
Be willing to make sure that 7% equaled out in this area.
Well, I mean, it's one of those, honestly, the way it's set up, it should have been withheld the whole time anyway, 'cause, I mean, I'm not really an independent contractor. Now, if you hire an attorney just to handle one case for you, that's an independent contractor, but when you appoint, and it's a county position, and I do work for you every month, I'm really an employee anyway. It's not, you've been paying me as an independent contractor, but that's really not the proper way. You should have been doing it the whole time anyway.
You've got a point on that.
I make a motion we add him to the county payroll and
I second it.
Got a motion from James, second from David. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Eric Wood,
Yes.
Debbie Davis,
Yes.
Daniel Deal,
Yes.
Dewey Estimate,
Yes.
Mark Evans, Jeremy Kinsey,
Yes.
John Pippinger,
Yeah.
Samantha Franklin, pass. James Whitty,
yes.
8 yes, 1 pass.
Can you go to that ambulance agreement?
Yes, going down here, to the ambulance contract, county executive.
As the ambulance committee met a couple of weeks ago, did I put that in your all's packet?
You did, the addendum.
Yes, everything from, so everybody has that where it says the second amendment to the ambulance service contract. Okay. Jamie Nicholson's with us tonight as well. I've had some of the commissioners that had asked, Jeremy or Jay, Mr. Nicholson and I talked about that as well. Where AMR had made the comments that they would, anyway, AMR is also willing to come in and do CPR classes, not only for the school on one side, but all of our schools. We had an incident the other day, I try to keep it as safely as I can. We had an incident the other day at school, and there were some things that happened in dealing with breathing. Now that's something other that may not ever happen again, but it's something other that if one child or if one teacher saves a life, that's something other that they're willing to be able to pitch in. I know with Mike here today, who on the east side with the fire and rescue, they're willing to do, I had it wrote down, Jamie, on that, what was that called, the other training?
Stop the bleed.
Pardon?
Stop the bleed.
And the other, the E?
EMR, an EMR class and an EMR refresher.
And the refresher class. And I know whenever I came to the East Polk Fire and Rescue meeting, they were trying to get people certified, different things of that nature. That's the cost to our volunteer fire department. And so AMR is willing to also to help to provide some of those services, so it would not cost as much for our volunteer fire departments to have some of the training that they need. as well as, to offer a ambulance, helicopter package for the county employees, and also to offer something to county residents to actually sit up here at the community center where it be advertised that a package would be available if you would want something as far as an ambulance and or helicopter deal from AMR, and at the courthouse, for those on the west side of the county, if you'd be interested in that. I don't know if anybody's ever had an ambulance ride or a helicopter ride. They're a couple $1,000s. So it's just something other than AMR is also included, by reaching out to extend their contract.
I just want to add something there. My daughter flew, back in October, via air ambulance, and the bill was $72,000. So the insurance is well worth the premium paid. Well worth it.
The ambulance committee did meet, there has been some things, or we shoot through.
No, I'm through. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There were some things that have kind of surfaced since that meeting, and I'm gonna request that this be put off to next month, and the ambulance service meet at least one more time.
Can we also have those notes from the McMinn, because I read those, and how we have to take one of our ambulances to the middle? Our county is way too big, because if something happens out Farner, and then something happens in Grassy Creek, I mean, we're in trouble. And Fannin County, I mean, you know you said that Fannin County helps, they don't have enough to even accommodate their needs. So we shouldn't be taking half of our ambulances to the center because you're accommodating to McMinn County. Why can't they buy another ambulance? I mean, I wanna see those notes. I mean, they need these to read too, because.
Are y'all not receiving the,
I did the other day,
From
that's,
That's
I
why
wasn't
he
gonna,
got an issue.
I wasn't gonna bring that up, but, that's one of the issues I was wanting to discuss.
I mean,
in the
that's
meeting.
taken away from us up here because our county's too big. Cause I mean, if something happens out Farner, you can't get to Grassy Creek from the middle of the river. I mean, that's just not fair to us up here because we're accommodating to McMinn County.
I would like to sit and talk with y'all about that and let you see what actually happens. I know rumors are rumors. You need to see what actually.
But I mean, it
does.
shouldn't be happening.
It shows 270 incidents in the last 9 months at the McMinn County line. Is
Was
what
that-
the CAD numbers. And that's one thing I was wanting to walk through with you and Wes Davis to make sure that what I'm looking at is what I think I'm seeing is what I'm seeing, 270. And there was a couple of low months, which is about the time that we kind of started griping about, the ambulances being at the McMinn County line so much. So you had a couple of kind of lower months,
It's in the notes.
but it still averages 30, so you had some higher months right before and a few months later after we kind of got off the kick of griping about it. See what I'm saying? The average shows 30. So take 9 divided into 270, am I right on that, 30? Is that?
Was anything mentioned at a McMinn County Commission
Yeah.
meeting, concerning their contract? And was it mentioned that, you know, their contract is for free, and we understand some of it, because they have more hospitals, and they, you know, more opportunity to make money. But was it mentioned during a McMinn County Commission meeting that part of the reason for part of their free contract was because y'all did depend on Polk County for one ambulance sometimes?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
That did not happen.
But it's been a rumor that's went around here for the last 4 days.
The only commission meetings that I've not attended were in October and November. I've attended the rest of them. It's been a big secret in my presence.
I also have another question. Why do you make our ambulances go all the way to Knoxville to be serviced? Why can't we do it in, because that's,
You can get a contractor certified here, it's certified for heavy
so they
equipment.
have to be certified?
Yes, ma'am. They have to be ASC master technicians. And they have to be certified to work on emergency equipment. It's a type technical certification for mechanics.
But
Do they have to be, does that mechanic have to be certified to work on the inside?
Yes.
The medical equipment,
They have to be
everything
able to
that has to be
work on
done?
everything.
Okay.
And now, we don't, for an oil change or something like that, you don't have to be a master technician. We can do that locally.
Yeah.
But, and the oil changes go to Adams.
And also in the contract, when was we supposed to get a new truck? Was that this past December? Cause we still ain't got one.
You got one from last year, and there's one due now, it's been ordered. It takes about 72 days or more to get one of those off the assembly line, once they're ordered, but the new one is ordered already from Polk County. And your truck with the highest mileage has about, I believe, 130,000 miles on it, maybe a little more.
Well, again, with all things considered, I would like for this to be moved to next month's meeting and us to have a minimum of one, more than likely two, possibly three ambulance committee meetings.
I do wanna add one
With
thing,
y'all.
and, you know, every time that an ambulance from Polk County goes to McMinn Line, it's a mutual aid request.
Yeah.
That truck is only asked to do emergency only. 911 calls. It is never taken into that, to another county where there be, you also need to look at the number of times we go to Bradley County now.
It's a whole lot
Now,
less.
that's
than
not
the-
being the way that
But what-
McMinn County has left the impression on that now, and I'm not gonna argue the fact.
Well,
we're going to
But
both
it's
places.
being told that our ambulances goes on convalescent runs.
No, ma'am.
Okay, if our, okay, I
I
understand
mean,
John's that.
I'm just saying what's been said.
If ours is sitting on the line, now, I can agree that y'all agree that the one sitting on the line will not be asked to move into McLean County unless it's called for an emergency. However, well, has there ever been a situation where y'all had an emergency we had to go to, but y'all were one ambulance short because one of y'all's ambulance was doing a convalescent run at the time? And that was the reason our ambulance had to go into McLean County? Because one of McMahon's is on a non-emergency call?
But we have 5 trucks in McMinn, and there's always a possibility one is on a non-emergency call.
So basically,
But that's,
ours not just for emergency.
Well, it is, Brooks, cause if you're on a convalescent run and there's an emergency comes up, that truck can't drop that
you
call.
can't drop your patient.
Once you got
Right,
that
but-
patient, it's yours.
Right, I agree with that, but what I'm saying is the concept of ours only entering McMinn County for emergency call, that's true, but why?
When
They're not
all
one
on
short
there.
because they're all McMinn's out on emergency, they're one short because they've got one doing a non-emergency.
We have the
Just
same
this
thing
week.
happen here though.
Just this week.
We have convalescent runs that
Yes,
go to the
You argue with
hospital.
everybody.
Right, we have convalescent runs that go to the hospital and we have emergency
But
care, somebody.
what happens with us, like if we have one emergency on one end of the county, our truck's in the
Well, I'm not
center,
saying that.
and then we have another one over here, and then Fannin County can't get to us, what happens with our?
You know,
When your county gets to a certain truck level, a certain number of trucks, that truck leaves McMinn County's line.
But what if
comes
they
back to your
can't?
county.
What if they can't though?
Oh,
What
they
if-
can.
What if it's all like, what if they've got patients and then we have emergency here, Fannin County can't get to us?
Okay, that, but
We're in
again,
trouble.
the truck at the line, once Polk County goes to a certain level, I think it's level 2, where you only have 2 trucks available, that truck leaves the line.
But you don't know what's gonna happen during the day.
You
when we're
never
running-
know what's gonna happen.
when
That's
you're
why you
running
work it
calls
the
like
best
that.
you can. You,
Well, that's where the mutual aid, I guess, is
Yes,
supposed to
ma'am.
kick in.
yes, ma'am.
So, like if they are gone, then hopefully we got like Bradley County or y'all got
Yeah, but
Georgia.
they don't have enough. I mean,
I
they
know,
barely have
I mean,
enough to do
that's
theirs.
right, that's what you
And they'll
probably
tell
can
you.
get into, exactly.
There
But
are-
that's where the mutual aid,
There are 23 services
It's not
in
fair.
Region 3.
Yeah.
And all 23 of those services have a mutual aid agreement with each other.
Well, why
So
doesn't
when we-
McMinn County just buy them another truck so we don't have to
Now, I
accommodate?
have 8 but I can't staff.
We only have 2 for as big of a county as we
You
are.
have 4.
Up
We have
here,
4.
we only have 2.
You got 2 on one end and 2 on the other.
Yeah.
We don't
county
have, I
has
mean, if
4.
something happens, we're in trouble. We shouldn't take away from our citizens up here to accommodate in the middle just to be late.
My issue, and this is, I mean, this is what people tell me, you know, and I'm just telling you this so you can help address it, ring, but if we've got one, it's the trouble, it's chain reaction. If we put one in Delano, we'll be on standby for McMinn because they're on a money-making, non-emergency call, then Ducktown comes to the foot end and sets and covers for the west end.
Maybe.
And then Blue Ridge covers for Ducktown. So basically, all because McMahon decided to do a convalescent run, we're gonna keep going till we got Cuba on standby for Miami. I mean, it's just gonna keep going, you know, down and down and down, and because of McMahon County.
It doesn't work quite that way.
But it's an inconvenience when it's non-emergency.
Not, you said that the truck goes to the line. okay?
And one up here goes to take
No,
it.
it does not.
Half the time it does. I come by there a lot and they're sitting there.
That's take it.
At the takeout, right there at the bathrooms.
At the takeout.
Down
And there's
here.
something else going on. They should not do that, don't they?
Well, then we need to pull dispatch runs and see how many times
Yes,
they
you
run
do.
down there.
Sure do.
Because I don't think it's fair that one of our ambulances should go halfway down the road.
The CAD will show how many times we've had an ambulance sitting at the halfway point. There's a mark in the CAD system, what I understand from Wes, so that wouldn't be hard to get, probably,
That's right.
30
Yeah,
minutes would be.
I mean, we just need to look and see how many times, even how many times you guys down there go over to accommodate McMahon.
270.
What you want to do, John? What we want?
I'd like to put this over to committee,
So we need to have ambulance, we need to make it too. I'll
Yes.
call everybody on it and make sure. Jamie, how much notice do you need? Tuesday or Thursday night?
Thursday's fine.
Around seven, so anytime, any notice, day's notice out?
Yeah.
Alright,
Move on.
let's see. Roy Jean, real quick, road department, request sale of surplus property.
Snuck it on. Waiting on my end, This is real simple, surplus items, so, we've just got 2 rovers that are, pretty well wore out, trucks are surplus as well. And, we just need the approval of the surplus from the committee.
you're just wanting us to make a motion to
Approve
request
the
those to
sale.
be,
Yeah.
surplus and sold?
Yes, approval of surplus so we can, put them on auction block.
Okay. I make a motion to, approve the request items as surplus.
Second. Got a motion by John, a second by Jeremy, any more discussion? Roll call.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
Daniel Deal.
Yes.
Jimmy Escott.
Yes.
Mark Evans. Jeremy Kinsey.
Yes.
John Pippinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trump.
Yes.
And James Whitting.
Yes.
9 yes.
What's the average amendment?
Juvenile contract.
Let's do, keep this quick. Juvenile contract approval.
You got that in your packet, and Judge Townsend's with us today as well. There is just one paragraph on this that I would like for you all to let Eric look into a little farther. It is on page 3, number 6. I've talked with our insurance provider, Davis and Morlock as well. This is something, according to Judge Townsend, though, that there's not many places that would hold or keep our juveniles for detention if something come up in that event. But in that, on page 3 and number 6, where it states that Polk County is also gonna be responsible for a lot of the things that's there. If something was to happen in the event of one of our juveniles from this county entered in to Bradley County, it could fall back on us. I don't think that's in the best interest of Polk County, because we shouldn't be held responsible for something other that might happen in Bradley County. So that's why I would ask that, y'all would let Eric look into this, see if we can negotiate on this contract.
Which page is that on?
Next month's agenda, while he looks at it.
No, I'm wanting to let him, he started, because right now we don't have anything.
He should look at the whole contract.
Who?
He should look at
He
the whole
has.
contract, and there ain't no reason why, Bradley County couldn't put Polk County on the same insurance as they've got.
Correct, but he
Done
needs,
it- We've done it in business when we had contractors outside our area, and it'd be the same difference.
They probably knew they could do that, but they was gonna let us figure it out. Did our probably.
and they
And
tried.
then, are we paying them $120 a day for that juvenile?
Yes,
That's another thing we need to look at.
you are,
So
That's-
I mean, if we're paying them, then
that's-
we don't need to pay them 14 times.
correct, and that's how come Eric's already looked at this, and it's already been proven. But, like I said, something needs to be done, because other counties have already approved theirs. I'm just asking you to let Eric go into negotiations to get that changed for the betterment of Polk County. It's not, it's not right.
You need that
Please.
motion?
I make a motion that we have Mr. Brooks look into.
Second motion.
Motion by Dewey, second by James, any more discussion? Roll call.
Greg Brooks,
Yes.
David Davis,
Yes.
Stephen Hilton, Dewey Estimon,
Yes.
Mark Evans, Gary McKenzie,
Yes.
John Gibson,
Yes.
Samantha Trent, yes.
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, hospital contract, county executive.
You all should have gotten your packet, services of Tim Henry, we'll go with this one first. You'll see in there what Tim has listed that he would continue to do or would not continue to do for the county to maintain records and receipts, dealing with chapter 13, all those things that are there. Ducktown, to my knowledge, has not, they're kind of waiting on you as the county commission to see if you want to extend this contract with Tim Henry. If you say no, then it won't do Ducktown any good, but Ducktown is here, Mayor Collins is behind me, so.
Well, you just want us to extend the contract under the new,
If you all want to extend it, or if you do not.
what's our option if we don't?
I don't think.
You'll have to find somebody.
We don't have one.
You don't have one.
That's what I thought. I make a motion to extend the contract, with Henry,
I think we need to find new options and find something
Tim
cheaper.
Henry.
There's not gonna be any new options, Sam, there's not gonna be anybody cheaper. And Tim has done this, and right now, he's still listed as our post-closure administrator. And we're behind the 8 ball now, trying to clear up a lot of this stuff. There's lawsuits that he's involved with, I mean, it would just be, in my opinion, crazy to take Tim out of it. We split this 75-25, so what you see on there is not solely on the county.
When is this contract up?
Well, I don't know if we do it for a year, I don't know what he,
There's not a deadline.
There's not really a
but
deadline.
It's basically, he'd go on to other projects is what he's.
and if we sell this or get it cleared up, I mean, we won't need his services and
Now, and part of the responsibility taken out of this one, you were looking for someone to do the files.
We got that.
Find
Yeah,
somebody to do that.
Yeah, we've got that coming up in there.
That's the difference.
Yeah, we got that deal.
Okay.
He's
Right.
making $600 a week to do nothing.
He's doing more than you think, Sam. Oh, yeah.
He's not doing anything. I mean, he's making $600 off the county to do nothing.
No, he's not making 600 off the county,
It
he's making
says weekly for the
450.
above pass, $600, including
County
one
end up there.
per trip weekly mileage. And the weekly mileage is billed for $75. What's
That's
he
a-
driving?
Let's put this on the agenda next month, we can mark a month, and let's review his responsibilities and talk to him and see
It's not gonna
what.
change, we've already swapped, he's got the keys, he does all the bill, it comes to get the mail, I mean, he's doing the job right now for no pay. Has been probably for the last 6 months. You know, just trying, because, like I said, there's things he's involved with this that nobody else is gonna take on, and he's, I mean, you
I
know.
mean, is getting the mail an advanced job that requires a degree?
No,
There's
but
some checks and
the
stuff.
billing and a lot of the money, what little money's left coming in, he has to have that, yeah.
You think I- yeah. Well, let's look at this next month, I mean, me personally, I'll look at his responsibility, see what he has done up to now, let him show us what he is doing, and,
I
if
figured he might
everybody
be here, I didn't know if he
good,
was or
I
not.
think
Could we like,
Several
could he like
questions.
come and, I mean,
He's
this
been to
is
meet several times, I figured he might have been here, but I hadn't talked to him, so I didn't know if he was coming today or not.
You all want me to set up a meeting with him?
Yeah, it seemed like there's several questions, and, I have a talk to him.
Mayor Collins, has he ever, I know me and you talked, has he ever, made any, announcement as to people that could pick up their records if they wanted to get rid of them without having to deal with them?
Not till we go through them, like I said, that's what, we'll talk about that in a second, I think Robbie's got that on the list, so. Yeah.
As well as deaths and so forth?
Just pretty much everything, we went through it Sunday and trying to figure everything out, we've got some, couple of committees right now to work for that,
Of
so.
course, you said he'd been in there 6 months, you know, well,
Well, he's been in there since the hospital before it closed, he stayed with us, but there was some
Well,
money coming in, he was getting paid somewhat, but he hadn't
Mr.
paid
Chairman,
a
it
lot.
seems like a lot of this order done been took care of.
It should have, but
Getting that.
Yeah.
Hey Brooks,
Hey,
I rescind my motion on that.
Mr. Hatch is gonna,
Next on the, hospital contracts is discussed in the Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting that we had, for you all to allow, Mayor Collins to find somebody as far as the records. There is also it's being applied for. I've got the paperwork on my desk that we are going to be sending in for a $50,000 grant to help with the records that comes through from, Governor Lee. And part of this with the rural areas, rural communities that have lost their hospitals. Brooksy Carlton is a lady's name. I know a lot of people may think and say I'll put names out there that I've been in contact with. So we're gonna look to use, and if we can achieve this $50,000 grant with our records that we have now, that we all know need to be taken care of. Mayor Collins and I, we have been to Nashville, and the state has assured us that if we can get these records packaged up and brought to them, that they'll take care of them. It was also brought up as far as people in the community that might want their records, to do something to that effect, but we are wanting to use this $50,000 and not only for the records. I've talked to Brooksy, also dealing with the water situation that we're faced with. So we're looking to use every bit of this $50,000, that it once applied for, and if we obtain it, to pay for the 4 people.
2 right now, possibly 3, and maybe 4, but yeah.
But Mayor Collins has found 2, as he said, hopefully 3, possibly up to 4, that would be willing to come in and sort through all these records. The Buildings and Grounds Committee, as we went through the hospital the other day, you've seen there's a lot of records there. But these people would come through that be able to put all these, organize them, and get them ready to go. Then those that would need to be shredded would be shredded. We'd have a shredding company come in as part of this grant with the $50,000, also to pay these people to take care of. That would take care of some of the service in Mr. Henry's contract where he's hired. So we could have 3 people at $45 an hour in here doing this work where you got 3 instead of 1. So that's one of those things that's there. So you all would need to approve. The committee voted, let Mayor Collins look to find somebody to help clean up the records, and he has found those. So you all would need to vote to go ahead and pay them from somewhere or another in the county's fund. But if we receive this $50,000 grant, for it to understood that it's going to come back to cover the cost, and then we'll work it out between Ducktown and ourselves as far as the 75-25 split.
And they agreed they would do it for $15 an hour. And
More than likely.
I make the motion that we allow him to find the people at that $15 amount rate to gather up all the records.
Great. What line would you want?
Coming from legal.
Yeah, coming from the legal line.
I'll second.
the motion.
yeah.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Erie and a second by James. Any more discussion? No? No, go ahead.
I wonder what we're gonna do with the parts that don't belong to the hospital that's over there.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to do the budget
There's
amendment
some
next month.
doctors, some doctors' files there.
we've got that figured out, lady. Come
What are
on.
you gonna do with it, Doug?
We'll probably contact them and see if they want them. And most of them are for children. We've got to keep them, I think, for at least 18 years plus 10, so some of them the state will take those. So they'll be taken care of. We're aware of it.
We sort them, box them, and send them, right? I mean,
When we get them
that's
filed
the
down,
bottom line.
and we've got an idea that when we get everything lined up and what we can shred, get rid of it, what's left, we're planning on probably having 2 or 3 weekends, basically opening up for people that want to come and get the records, and we think we can thin a lot of them out that way before we have to send, so maybe we won't have to send a truckload in there.
Yeah, they want them, the ones that can be, destroyed, taken out, and then somewhat organized before they're brought to them in some sort of filing index, so people ask for them, they can get to them easily, and, that they'll take them, and whereas, there are companies that'll do that, they were wanting about 35,000, so this should be a whole lot cheaper, this way, so.
We hope. And I don't think we're on a timeline like we have to have it within a week. They'll take them, I mean, we've got it set up for the state, they'll take them as soon as we get them ready, so right now with the daylight being pressing, I think it'll get better.
Is this motion where they can go ahead and start this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It was what was allowed through the committee voted to let Doug find those people, and Doug found those people. And so that's just, you all allowing this to happen, to flow through. And then once we get it, once it's all taken care of, then we'll bring it back before the commission on that 75-25 split between us and Ducktown. And then if we do get this $50,000 grant, that's understood that that's what it's gonna ultimately come from, reimbursement to come back from.
Roll call.
Ray Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
Daniel Deal.
Yes.
Dewey Estimate.
Yes.
Mark Evans.
Yes.
Jeremy Kinsey.
Yes.
John Kipinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent. Yes. James Woody.
Yes.
9 yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the hospital's a hot topic. The Buildings and Grounds Committee, when we met, you all had the opportunity to go through and to tour the hospital and one of the adjacent doctor's offices. You've seen in that where the committee had voted itself 2 weeks before to allow the moving forward for the water meters to be installed for these 3 buildings, but there's 4 office buildings there. One's the upper and the lower. So this voting commission would need to vote on that, to allow that to go forward. So we could get those water meters installed. And then that would move forward to the process of getting a RFP bids out to have water lines laid from the building to the water meters.
How much is it per meter? What would be the amount? It'd be a 75-25 split too, right?
Correct. Get the actual papers right here. 3/4 inch meters to be laid, or to be installed from Copper Basin Utility District. I have the exact amount on another piece of paper.
About $7,500, wasn't it?
For
No.
Ricky.
We talked about
yeah, Ricky's here if you know what, you remember what they are, Rick?
I'd rather not discuss it, I'd rather let the water plant discuss it with y'all.
It was. There's a $1,000 non-refundable connection fee. Also a $50 service charge that's on this, but, $1,000. So if I'm not mistaken, it was right at 48.
With the water line job, is that bidded out?
It will have to be, because it's gonna be it'll be a lot bigger project,
Yeah.
because you're gonna have to lay a line for each building. And what this is for is, if this is not done, you're gonna have a backflow preventer put onto the hospital, which is gonna be useless. So you spend your money to put a backflow preventer on the hospital,
Yeah.
or you go ahead and cut the hospital loose, put these water meters in, and then that way, if and when you do sell these buildings, you've got the meters installed, you've got the lines laid for each building.
So what's the total cost for the meters we need to vote on?
I'd put not to exceed 5,000.
Total?
Yeah, for the 4. Well, it's actually gonna be 3 because that one's gonna tie, if you remember, the one's gonna tie together because it is.
That's counting the deposit too though, right? And the connection fee and.
Everything but the water line run.
Water line itself, and then we'll start the bidding process to that.
And what we really gotta think
You
about,
need a motion
we had a,
for us to authorize you.
had one of the commodes hang up probably 6 months ago in our hospital, and we got a $5,000 bill right now, the county and city's paying those.
Right.
So we don't need to be paying water bills for
So our part should exceed 3750, and bear 75%.
Correct.
So,
It'll be a 75-25 split between us and Ducktown. once
so
again.
ours need to say not to exceed $3,750 on the county's part.
I seen that coming.
Are you saying the whole job?
I would say go ahead
Or
and
the
let us,
county's
and then
part?
the county's part.
Not to exceed 5,000?
Correct.
Okay.
And then that way, we'll work that out once again with Ducktown on this split.
I make a motion that we proceed with the 3 water meters not to exceed $5,000 for the doctor's offices and units that, were described at the, committee meeting.
Second.
Got a motion from John, second to Daniel, any more discussion? Roll call.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
David Davis.
Yes.
Daniel Deal.
Yes.
Dewey Estimate.
Yes.
Mike Evans.
Yes.
Jeremy Kinsey.
Yes.
John Pippinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trentham. Yes. And James Whitting.
Yes.
9 yes.
So now, once we get through the water meters, then, like Greg said, we'll send RFPs out, so I'll bring that back to you next month. Next thing is leasing.
This last one on hospital?
I believe so. I believe so, 4 or 5, something like that, depending on how that other one went. This is the leasing, and once again, as the Buildings and Grounds Committee walked through those buildings, or one of those buildings, went through the outside of all the facility, and, heard the pros, the cons, the goods, the bads, or to the buildings, I'm sorry. You went through Dr. Ulick and Dr. Siddiqui's office that day as well as the hospital. So, what would you all like to rent for your buildings? The county attorney and myself, we met with the doctors that day. Miss Ruth was there as well. I can tell you that they've done a service for the community. I want that to be known to those doctors and what they have done over the years and things of that nature as we listen to them, but, they're wanting to pay $1,000 a month. The long and the short of everything that they had said that day.
I'll say this, we're gonna cover it. Me and Jeremy met with both the doctors last night and the lady over, the physical therapy. And, not that they didn't know any of y'all, but Jeremy, used Dr. Hewitt, and, I know them all, and none of them were here tonight, and they all had meetings, and, they're all 3 willing to pay $1,400 a month. And, they've all told me and Jeremy both that. And, now these are 20-year-old buildings, and, the physical therapy has paid $6,000 for a new hot water heater. They went through 3 heat and air units.
Fixing to go through that one.
Getting ready to go through another one. They had it ordered and they canceled that because they were afraid that we were gonna charge $3,000 a month. When they got the fire put in their name, when the county had it took off, they all paid a $2,000 deposit. They put it in their name. And the average light bill right now is about $500 a month for each unit. And actually, Dr. Hewitt is paying 3 buildings, and, he would like to, because I don't know how it's wired up or whatever, but, he would like to get that, where it's just paying for his unit instead of all 3. I mean, myself,
What about utility and upkeep and that price? What was her thoughts on that?
well, from what I took of it, they would like the county to be, you know, in charge of anything outside maintenance, and that they would take care of anything on the inside.
Well, we need, specific stuff to put in the lease agreement, and it's good what y'all done, y'all got the main thing accomplished, the price, and I say have one more building committee meeting with the doctors, and let's get the fine print in the lease, and that's all, you know, it's kinda hard to do it in 10 minutes, agree to lease that.
Oh, I agree, yeah.
But y'all got the main thing accomplished, and now we got that, and I think we'll probably all be agreeable.
Do we have
and we'll-
any, just real quick, do we have any kind of inkling on how much money on the outside will have to be spent, like pronto?
That's what
I know
the building
today,
committee makes.
I know today I got pictures of roofs leaking.
Yeah, I figured that, it's always
And,
that, you know, so.
And the physical therapy building, there's a big sinkhole underneath it. I don't know if we looked at that night at the building committee meeting, I didn't make it to look at that. But,
Well, what we'll do, building committee meeting with the road department have to be up here anyway, so we may try to have it and meet with the doctors at the hospital, then come over here and have the building committee meet him on the same night, so both of these need addressed, but we got.
Let me finish what
It's,
we got. Now, now, if we do take the 1,400 or whatever the county agrees on, now talking to them, I don't think out of both doctors and the physical therapy, they're not gonna pay no more than that. I mean, since the hospital shut down, physical therapy is barely making even. They had a lot of people come to them before that, now they're breaking even. If you go much higher, Siddiqui done got his Georgia license.
And he's got a place,
And he's got a building bigger than anything we've got. They got solar panels on the roof. I know where the building is. I take any of you Highway 5. But, Tri-State Electric will actually pay them to get power off the building. The main thing you don't wanna leave, a lot of patients, from up here, older people, and their insurance, they can't go into Georgia. And, even people from the nursing home, if they go to the doctor, Hewitt or whoever, the SEFRA, they can't go into Georgia, for what I'm told. I didn't know
They
that.
can't even drive over there, covered on the insurance.
Well, how long a lease are they gonna want for this price?
That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
We can talk
Yeah.
about that, and,
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
the attorney or anything.
Yeah.
But now, if I done the math right, you know, and I'm counting Ducktown getting a third of it, you know, 1,400 a month, you looking at, over 32,000 a year, new money, revenue into the county. And, you know, as a county commissioner, I like that part, you know, but.
Well, you know, it's,
Tax rate.
that's a lot hard money.
What Daniel said, it might, we want all the money we can get, but it's bigger than that, because like I said, it's the only healthcare y'all got on the east end, so we gotta
What
play
about
into
that
it too.
fourth building, the doctors that come in, and, you know, so they don't have to, you know, the specialists, the heart doctors?
Yeah.
Are they interested in doing
They
that?
still coming up, they was up Friday, we
They-
hadn't
they
been
do.
in
I
contact
mean,
with them.
do they use the other building?
No, they're using the Siddiqui.
What about the basement, Hewitt's office?
That's the one
That's
that's,
Erlang or Health.
that's,
We done get money from them.
Eichenbaum.
Eichenbaum.
There's two different.
Eichenbaum and another one, and I've not been able to make contact with
What
them.
about them, Daniel? You ain't got them figured in on the.
Eichenbaum and the other one in that bottom, that basement building, I've not been able to make contact with them.
They was up Friday.
Where they?
Yeah, that's, I mean, that's.
Oh, you talking about the lab work people, is that what you're talking
No.
about?
He's talking about Unit
By
B.
you.
Big under Hewitt.
Yes,
Yeah, you
they're
know.
under you. That one, when we was at, when you came in there.
No, I haven't contacted them. I know
Yeah, they
somebody
only come
mentioned,
like once a week or something. and then-
somebody mentioned maybe the lab work going to one of them, but they're not breaking even to come up here, you know, if it wasn't for Siddiqui giving them a bunch of work,
Hey,
even
Brooks.
they wouldn't come up here.
Yeah.
You put that under ambulance committee, or not ambulance, building committee.
Yeah, that's what I just said, we're gonna
That's what I-
meet next week, or when we meet with Roy Jean, we're also gonna, if the doctors could all come, or we could even go over there, I'd rather them all come here if they could, and all get one room, if you can tell them. We'll say next Thursday, here at the community center at 7 o'clock.
And one more thing that I'm done,
Yep,
and,
heard.
you know, yeah, like I say,
That's a road committee.
as far as I know, we ain't got no other doctors wanting to move in, you know.
Too much road
And
committee.
if we done it for a year contract, then negotiate, if we got other doctors moving in, or somebody's wanting to buy the whole caboodle, you know, that'd be fine. But for now, I like that.
What about do we cover the water meter in the basement in Hewitt's office, one and 4? That's the one for it too, right?
Correct, that'll be getting it in for now.
Have their own meter.
But then we will, but then
3
we'll have.
meters, 4 locations.
Correct, 3 meters, 4 locations, because then you're gonna have to look to turn all that water around, because the basement of Ulix is what controls the hot water for Ulix. So you'll have to look at that later on.
Right, next Thursday at 7 up here. Is it, real quick, we gotta suspend the rules for East Polk Fire and Rescue.
Make a
Hold on.
motion to suspend
Hold on,
the rules
Darren's
for
gonna
East
say-
Polk Fire Rescue.
Hold on, Darren's got something.
Will y'all really consider this rent for them, because there's a lot of old people that use these doctors?
That's what we just said, we agree.
I mean,
We're gonna get
really,
here. and-
really think about it, cause I hate to see them move. And I'm not just saying that for me, I'm saying that for a lot of people.
No, that's what I said, they got them, right here, what they done, that was a major hurdle, it's been cleared, and now all it is just sitting down and agreeing on a few little, fine lines about who's responsible for what, and we will get it worked out, and, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's a done deal, just get.
Well,
it
now,
fine.
Greg, I don't want to throw a cog in the wrench in the cog, City of Ducktown. We gotta agree to this too.
Well, we got 75% of it, if y'all
Right.
want 100% of the debt, then y'all can have 100% of it.
But I'm just saying, so when you have your meeting, your committee meeting, whatever, if you would spend your
We'll
time,
make
let
sure
the
y'all know
City of
when.
Ducktown come over too, so we
Yeah.
can all be on the same page.
Alright, we gotta suspend the rules for.
I make a motion to suspend the rules for East Polk Fire
East
Rescue.
Polk Fire and Rescue.
Was it, yeah, East Polk Fire Rescue.
Got a motion by John, second by Jeremy, any discussion? Roll call.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis. Yes. Daniel Deal. Louis Escondido.
Yes.
Mark Evans.
Yes.
Jeremy Kinsey.
Yes.
John Pippinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent. Yes. James Wade.
Yes.
Nine.
Who's, here with East Polk? Mr.
Mike,
Worthing?
yeah, Mike Worley is, and just to update on that, and I know Mike's been busy with everything going on as far as the rescue. He's had a fire truck that went down, and he talked to me about it, and I told him that if y'all would hear him out, to try to get a repair done on their priority truck that they have, so Mike.
Yeah, it's Engine One, the station down here at Station One. EGR cooling system went down there, and it's putting, water in the oil and through the exhaust, so I did send it to Lee Smith in Chattanooga for his fix. And it was only one of the toilets with $1,600 per hit, but the repair bill all came to $5,023.16.
How much money do you have in your other lines? Do you have any money you can convert into
Probably
that?
got 15,000 left in all of that.
In your whole, and that's in your whole. And what was the total?
$5,023.16.
And that's needing to go into your repair line?
Yes.
Yes.
That's in that repair.
Give me that number again. $5,023.
Had you ever, did you get another estimate from anybody else? Cause Lee Smith, and the reason that we know all this, I mean, my husband works on the railroad, and my son done all their railroad trucks. You can't find a higher place if you look the world over.
Well, it's kind of an emergency.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you
they
know,
have
it's,
worked on West Coast trucks.
yeah, they're just, you know, if I didn't know how they were, they just rip you out, you know.
Does anybody make a motion, take that?
I make a
fund
motion,
balance?
make a motion, $5,025 come out of go into East Polk Fire Rescue's, maintenance and equipment fund.
Second.
Got a motion by John, second by Jeremy, take 5,000, how much?
$5,025.
$5,025 in fund balance, put East Polk maintenance line. Any more discussion? Roll call.
I'm sorry, if you could put that in the line item number 338.
I amend my motion to, set that into line number 338.
Any more discussion? Roll call.
We need to get some more information on that.
Think of what?
Real quick.
Greg Brooks.
Yes.
Debbie Davis.
Yes.
Daniel Deal.
Yes.
Louis Escondido.
Yes.
Mark Evans.
Yes.
Jeremy Kinsey.
Yes.
John Pippinger.
Yes.
Samantha Trent. Yes. James Wade.
Yes.
9 yes.
Motion to
No,
adjourn.
got the airport.
Let's make it.
Good man. Hey,
Yeah, okay.